Hi, in this video I will show you how to append the geometry node 3 CW fuse into your scene. You don't really need an object to do this. You just go into the file menu and there you go to append, and then you choose the folder where your CWGN fuse file is, and then you open it here and you see the collection elements that are included in the blend file, and then you go to the node tree here, and then you ignore all the names with the underscore. You take this one here, the CW Fuse version 1. You don't need to add any options here, you just go to append. What you see now is you see some objects here in the scene. These are the sparks here, and the sparks we use for our fuse. So for the further work, you don't need the sparks. You can edit them if you want. So we can add more sparks or less and so on. So you see this collection is used for our fuse and we don't need to see it anymore, and we can place it outside of the main collection. So okay, the scene is now empty. If we go into the blend file view here in the outliner, we see the node groups elements here, or the node groups collection here, the folder, and there you see our CW fuse, geometry nodes, object, and some other element. Here you can find also the materials and so on. So we let this open here, and the next step is you need an object to be used for the CW fuse. So we use this add-on on curves. So we have to add a curve. Before I'm adding a curve, I tell you I'm using a small add-on that is included in Blender. It's free and it's always there. It's just not activated. So before you use it, you can edit, go to the preferences, and there you can find it under extra. And if you type in here extra, then you see a list of extra add-ons, and both here are checked. And what I'm using here is the add curve extra object. Okay, and now when I use the add menu to add any object, I see here the curve, and you know this maybe also already. And now you see a lot of more templates for curves. And what I'm using here, these are the templates that comes with the add-on I've explained before. So we use the curve spirals for demonstration, and I use it here, and I see this small circle, and I go here into the options, and now I can set the height for the object here, for the spiral, and I set the resolution, let's say to 10. We don't need much. Then we see it's a bit it has corners, and to get it round, you can go into the output curve type and you change it to Bezier, for example, and the corners are still there, but that's not a problem. You go now to the option from vector to auto, and now you see the curve is now round and smoothie. So what I do next is I add one more turn, and I change the radius a bit smaller here at the top. Okay, that's all for our default curve or our demonstration curve. So now we see the curve, and the curve needs to be a fuse. So what you do now is you go into the Blender outliner and you just go onto the CW fuse here, onto the node, and you drag it onto your curve here. And voila, the curve is now a small fuse. We can click here on the fuse, and then you can set some options to see it. I activate the EV preview here, and we see it's a small tiny fuse here with a texture and some sparks. The sparks are very big, so the next one will be here. The first option we choose is the spark scaling here. So I do it a bit smaller, so it looks better now. Good. And we add a small effect in the video here. The video shows you just the first step before you are using the add-on. So I add a small effect, and first what I do is here the world, and we change the strength to black, so it's very nice, dark. We can disable the overlays here, and then we go to the render settings, and we then go to bloom. And now our sparks are shiny and bloomy and begins to glow. Okay, this is a bloom. And so here you can set the radius and so on. Maybe you know it already, so you can experiment with the options here. Yeah, and then we go back to the view layer in our outliner here in this mode, and we see this is our spiral here. You can rename it to fuse or whatever, and then you can see in the modifiers menu the options. And how all the options works, I show you in separate videos. Thank you very much.